Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Toad here with, once again, another video. Now, in today's video, we've got a pretty sick one headed your way. Based off the title and thumbnail that you guys probably saw, we are going to be doing a Bioactive dart frog setup. Now, more specifically, this dart frog setup is going to be a 10-gallon, very simplistic setup. You can get away with housing 2 dart frogs in a 10-gallon enclosure. So this is pretty much all we're going to be using. Now, I've got some more plants and whatnot in other enclosures, but we're going to be using some moss, some little decor, isopods. We got a fresh, clear, brand new 10-gallon tank, the background, and so much more. So with that being said, we have no time to waste. The first thing we need to get started on is installing the background. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this 10-gallon universal rock. We're just going to kind of pop it open. Oh, now we got it. There we go. We are going to take this out of this plastic here that is extremely strong. This nice universal rock background, I'm super excited. I love these backgrounds. I use them in a lot of my enclosures, especially if I'm not building my own background. These things are super dope. Now we have this background here. It's kind of textured. It's got these mushroom ledges. It looks super dope, super natural. It's super light. It's literally made with like a type of foam spray material. It's really cool. And we're basically just going to install this into the 10-gallon enclosure. So now that we've got the background installed into the enclosure, this is kind of how it's going to look. Now some of y'all may be wondering, why is there a lip right there? The simple answer to that is, remember, we're going to have substrate coming up to about that high. So all that's going to be covered anyway. Basically, it's for them to save on product. That's pretty much all it is. Just continue installing it. All we're going to do is just get our tube of silicone here, line the corners and maybe some of the bottom, let it sit for an hour or so, and then we'll be good to go. That's one reason why I love the universal rock backgrounds. They're really easy to install. It doesn't take much time like, say, the foam backgrounds, the spray foam backgrounds. They're really simplistic to get set up. Alright, so if you look closely, the silicone is installed. I always choose to use the brown silicone just because it's not as strong and it looks a whole lot better. It blends in a whole lot better as well. Now, if you look closely, there are some spots that I smeared it a little bit and messed it up a little bit. Don't worry, once that dries, I can chip it off. And I'm also going to be coating all this with EcoEarth. Once again, because it looks well, it textures well, and it's, of course, kind of cheap. That's what it looks like there. You just coat it with EcoEarth, and I'm going to do it all the way around until it's all covered, and then we'll let it sit to dry. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is pretty much dry. Now we're basically just going to put it on the stand and start setting it up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. Sorry for the reflection, but it is on the stand. All we're going to basically do is set it up just like we do a lot of our other enclosures. We're going to add a drainage layer, then some mesh, then the substrate, the plants, and all that other good stuff. Alrighty, now that we got our hydro balls in, we're just going to chunk this mesh down in the scissors. Basically, all we're going to do is cut that mesh to size to fit in the bottom. Then we will add our substrate. Now, the reason we add the mesh on the bottom is to divide the substrate from our hydro balls. If not, then there's no point in even having hydro balls because they'll mix together and bacteria will build up. Tons of water, it'll be an absolute disaster. Well, now that we've got our mesh pinned down here, we're basically going to add a little bit of a layer of charcoal here. Charcoal is really good for growing plants and all sorts of things. Charcoal is kind of like the key to life, obviously, other than water and whatnot, but we are going to be adding a layer of charcoal. Now for the substrate in this enclosure, I'm of course, per usual, going to be using some jungle mix, leaf litter, and repti bark. I also may add some sphagnum moss if I can find any. Alrighty, so our dirt, sphagnum moss, and repti bark is in. It is all in. Now it's coming together. It's looking a little bit nicer. Now I just gotta kind of mix it all around. Now you may be wondering, why on earth do I need so much material and so much components in the dirt for the frogs? There's a simple, yet complicated answer to that. One of the main reasons we add things like Reptibark here, sphagnum moss, all that good stuff, is it keeps the soil fluffy, if that makes sense. The reason why you want your soil fluffy is because the plants, once they start to root into the soil, need area to breathe and area to grow and move around, if that makes sense. If your soil is super heavy and compact, it'll actually smother the roots, then killing your plants. Obviously, we don't want our plants to die, what? And then, of course, all those other beneficial things like charcoal, like jungle mix, like the sphagnum moss, like the Reptibark, they all add nutrients to the soil, allowing the plants to be able to eat as well. And there's even more reasons behind why you need to have certain components in your substrate and all that, but that's kind of a simplified answer. Well, once again, like every build I do, I just kind of get lost in the setup, and this is how it's looking so far. So I have this one ginormous fern in here, and I've still got like 4 or 5 more plants to add into this enclosure. Now, if I notice this fern starts to die off on me, I'm going to move him back to his original placement in this enclosure, but otherwise he should do alright. I'm saying he. And then I'll be adding more plants as we go. I also added these stones throughout the cage, and they look pretty neat, and they really help with the aesthetic of the enclosure. But now if we come over here, in this enclosure right there, as you can see, we've got a ton of baby plants that we will be adding. So next, one of the plants we will be adding into this enclosure along with our lemon button fern is a bird's nest fern. Now I absolutely love the look of these. They kind of look like Amazon sword, but just non-aquatic. And I'm going to find a nice place for these plants here, and we'll see how it looks. Well, holy smokes. The cage is done. Look at how insane this thing is. We've got our isopods running around right there. We have got moss. We've got air plants. We've got terrestrial plants. We've got it all in this enclosure. Now keep in mind, this tank looks giant and endless, but it's really, in reality, a 10-gallon tank. Just your standard 10-gallon glass enclosure. I mean, look at that. We've got a polka dot plant, we've got our lemon button fern, some other type of fern, another type of fern, and our bird's nest fern, some pods and whatnot for decor. I mean, this is insane. Our drainage layer is looking good. Our mesh, our substrate, all that is looking good. Leaf litter is in. And holy crap, the background, of course, adds it all together. Wow, guys, just wow. Just drop a comment on what y'all think of this. That being said, you already know. Let's roll into a montage. I'm pretty much speechless. Let me know down in the comments what y'all thought of this insane 10-gallon dart frog setup. Now, here in the next few weeks to few months, I will be purchasing dart frogs. Of course, that'll be in a whole nother video, and I will be filming it. So, when I do purchase dart frogs, I will film myself putting them in this enclosure and all that good stuff. I'm only going to get a pair, no more than that I would put in a 10-gallon enclosure. But I think, personally, they will love it. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of that. I'm absolutely stoked, and I'll keep you guys updated on how it turns out. You guys go check out Almo Exotics. I always mention them. Link in the description. I've got animals for sale, and it's always changing. One day I may have sulcata tortoises, another day I might have crested geckos, vice versa. Go check out Almo Exotics. Link in the description. Next, y'all gotta follow my Instagram, especially if you want sneak peek content on things like this. Otherwise, you're really missing out. So go follow my Instagram, TheRealPyroToadYT. Go check it out. You won't regret it. Next, make sure to like this video. It lets me know if I did alright. It lets me know if y'all enjoyed. It lets me know if it's even a good video. So go ahead and like the video. Guys, let me know if y'all want me to do more builds with enclosures like this, 10-gallon, 20-gallon dart frog setups. Definitely let me know. But with all of that being said, I love you guys so much. I've got a huge mess to clean up. I will see you all in the next one. Peace!